Okay, we're officially live here. Swinging Bull in the house with PB alerts. Just went live on the socials. Welcome y'all. Swinging Bull here. We got Apple reporting earnings. Hey Elizabeth, how you doing? Over here in the Discord. Streaming on YouTube, and I'm streaming on X. I'm also streaming in the Discord. People loading into the stream right now. Okay, regular session bell, or I'm sorry, the closing bell for the regular session is gonna ring in 5 seconds. We'll be done for the regular session at least. On Rod is here. Kenny Penny, what's up everyone? Just watching SPY and Triple Q. Kind of run into the close a little bit. I mean, they still have some selling to retrace from earlier today, but solid attempt at a reversal here. This looks good. And of course, for those that didn't know what happened in the markets today, as far as why it was selling off, well, news broke this morning that the U.S. trade deficit doubled to 56 billion, and there was a downbeat job report. So that's why we had the move we had this morning. I'm gonna go over some a trade I took today at the end of the stream, and made some easy money today on it. So just wanted to show everyone what happened there. Of course, I alerted it live in real time to the Discord. But let me go back over here to the Discord. Yeah, it's been a crazy day for sure. A lot of people were this is the 5-minute chart on SPY. I actually played this break right here where these EMAs crossed over bullish. Saw some of the market breadth and internal indicators I use starting to reverse, and it was a nice call trade. Wasn't in the trade for very long. Made some good money, and then I just I got in, got my money, and got out. You know, not playing no games. But yeah, nice buying pressure going into the close today on SPY and Triple Q. So anyways, let's go to why we're here. Apple has earnings, and so does Visa. According to my records, Visa reports their earnings at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. It's about another 3 minutes for them. And then Apple, I'm showing 4:30 for Apple. We'll see if that's right or not. So we might be hanging out for a little bit until we get Apple's data drop. But we'll get Visa first, and we'll spend some time on Visa while we're waiting for Apple's the earnings data to drop. I've traded Visa quite a bit in the past, made some good money on it, trading spreads with it. And healthy company. You know, there's a reason why they're up here in the 330s, and nice and positive PE ratio, 32. EPS is 10. They pay a tiny dividend, 1.8 billion free float. Of course, Visa is a profitable company. Quarter after quarter after quarter, nothing but positive net income. Even on an annual basis for the past 5 years, they're just making more money every year, back to back. You can see these year-over-year numbers nice and green over here. Debt to asset 61%. That's good. 19 billion in cash and equivalents. So, you know, Visa's solid. That's something I would probably have in my longer-term account. You know, Apple. I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. Fundamentals are solid. Financials are solid. Just like Visa, making more money year over year. Quarter over quarter has been a little up and down, but annual basis is solid. Debt to asset 79%. Cash and equivalents 54 billion as of September 27th in cash and equivalents and short-term investments. That's solid. I mean, it's Apple, right? Don't really got to talk about it too much. Everyone knows it's a solid stock. So again, Apple, from what I'm showing, reports at 4:30. Visa should be reporting any minute now. I go to TradingView. I'll have Visa on the right, and I got Apple on the left. And should be about 30 more seconds, and the data should drop for Visa. And we'll go over their results, EPS, revenue, any guidance I can find. We'll find out when they're going to do their call and how to get there. And any commentary I can find or anything, I'll share with everybody, of course, before they do their actual earnings web call. So a little bit of selling coming in. Okay, here comes the reaction. Give it a second and make sure it's going to be the real reaction. Sometimes it flickers one way and goes the other pretty quickly, but we'll see. It's down about $3 a share right now in after hours. Well, a little over 1%. Let's give it a second. And like I say, Apple's not till 4:30, so we got some time to burn before that. So we'll go over Visa a bit. And as soon as I got the data, I will let everyone know. And also for Visa, their forecasted EPS was $3.14 and forecast revenue $10.6 billion. They're trading just under their anchored VWAPs, probably around like 335 around there. We go back to the sticks. Okay, Visa's still red. Looks like this may be the reaction. We'll see. Got to give it a few more minutes though. Still too early, I think. It's down over about 450-ish. Well, okay, it's coming back up now a little bit. Let's give it a moment for the earnings data to be digested by investors, but so far negative reaction. Let's look at a few other things. I'm going to go to their, so the implied move for Visa is 2.4%. Just to kind of give a little guideline there. I mean, expected moves, it's not 100%. Sometimes there's double, sometimes there's half the move. But it's a good, it's what's being priced in, and it's good to build trades around sometimes. So Visa 2.4%, closed the regular session at 331.25, but implied move of 2.4. So, you know, it could be like an $8 move up or down. Right now, it's only down 2.76. So it did come down to 325. So let's keep our eye on it. I'm going to find out when they're going to do their earnings call. And I'm going to get their, let me get their press release real quick. Let's do that. Because I'm sure there'll be some commentary on there. All right, let's take a look. I'm going to cover up Apple just for a second. We still got, what, like 23 minutes left before they're supposed to report. Okay, here's this is in the news here. Read our, okay, so here's the press release here. January 29th, 2026. And let's, okay, so they're going to do their earnings call at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so you got a bit of time for that. And this is for Visa. And let's look at this here. Okay, so the earnings release that will be furnished with the Securities and Exchange Commission on a Form 8K and available on its investor relations website. And here, let's click on that. Okay, so here's the release. And let's look at this. This is the annual results. I want to, let me click on this right here. Okay, so net revenue was 15% change compared to the prior year period. So you got some growth there. Net income was positive. EPS was up. EPS came in at 3.03. The forecast was 3.14. So they did miss EPS. Let me go back here. And again, the revenue forecast was 10.6 billion was the revenue forecast. And they reported 10.9. So a little bit of a mixed bag here, mixed signals. They missed EPS, but they beat revenue. Okay, so I want to look for some other things as well. Give me 1 second. Just move that out of the way for a second. And yeah, we already talked about the net revenue in the fiscal first quarter was 10.9 billion. That's an increase of 15% year-over-year growth. Other notable items. On November 10th, Visa entered into a superseding and amended settlement agreement to resolve the interchange multi-district litigation injunction relief class claims. That was a mouthful. And on December 23rd, Visa deposited $500 million into its litigation escrow account, which was previously established under the company's U.S. retrospective responsibility plan to insulate the company and Class A common stockholders from financial liability for certain litigation cases. All right, let me look at a few other things here. Let me drag this back up. So yeah, it's looking like a negative reaction for Visa. They beat revenue, but they missed EPS. And let's see what else we got here. And they're going to do their earnings web call at 5 p.m. Eastern. And again, let me post that link for everyone if anyone wants to watch it. I'll put it in the comments real quick. Had a little over 200 people tuning in. Good to see everybody. Post it in the Discord as well if anyone's interested in that. That'll get you to the web call for Visa. And again, that's at 5 p.m. Eastern. And let's look at this. Okay, so we got the results here. We kind of went over a little bit of this already, and they just redirect you to this PDF form. So it's an 11-page PDF document. So if you go to that link I gave you, you can see all the highlights from the earnings. And here's a little commentary from the Chief Executive Officer. They say Visa delivered a very strong fiscal first quarter with net revenue up 15% year over year. We already talked about that. EPS up 17%, driven by resilient consumer spending and a strong holiday season, as well as continued strength in value-added services and commercial and money movement solutions. Our purposeful investments in our Visa as a service stack continue to position us as a payment hyperscaler to deliver technology and infrastructure that redefine what's possible in payments. All right, well, that's all fine and dandy, but investors are definitely taking this negatively. And so just looking for some red flags here. A lot of things rose year over year. And let me look at a few other things. Let me just pull this over real quick because I want to watch the price and see when it forms a bottom. The bottom's not in yet. This is the 5-minute chart. Let me come down here. And they said cash and cash equivalents were 16.9 billion as of December 31st. So that's interesting. Let me look at that. Cash. Okay, so their cash and equivalent position went down by about $2 billion. So that could be looked at negatively. Cash and equivalent position lost a few billion. And let's see here. The weighted average number of diluted shares for Class A common stock outstanding was 1.93 billion for the quarter. And also them depositing 500 million into the litigation escrow account. I don't think investors are liking that too much either. I mean, because they could be using that money for something else to benefit the business. I mean, I suppose it would benefit because they're using the money to defend themselves against litigation. But that could be looked at negatively because, that's $500 million. And again, just to reiterate, Visa will do the live earnings call webcast at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. So let me move this back over here. And what time is it? Almost 4:15. So we got about 15 more minutes before Apple is going to drop their earnings. I think that's why most people are here is for Apple. So let's give it a few minutes, and we will get the data soon. Until that happens, I suppose we can go over a few trades that I've been doing. I did a quick trade today. I was only in the trade for 10 minutes. Also, Apple's implied move that's being priced in is 3.5% up or down. So we'll just take what it closed at the regular session, 258, 3.5%, just to kind of maybe give us an idea. So that's like a $9 move. So not really a big move, is it? And, you know, I know on Visa this looks like a big, huge candle, but it's for $330 something stock. It's actually not down a lot. It's only down like 1.5%. And the implied moves are also, you know, small percentage amounts. So, you know, it's looking like we're probably not going to get like a huge reaction on either one of these, but I'd say Apple would be more of the wild card, I suppose. But again, the implied move for Apple is 3.5%. That's not crazy, anything crazy, right? So we'll see what their reaction would be. And let's just go over again for Visa. I'm seeing a lot of green. So I'm still kind of looking for red flag here. Again, them putting 500 million into account to fight court cases, that's probably being looked at negatively. Maybe that has something to do with why it had that big red candle. I'm talking about Visa. But back to Apple, you know, they beat EPS. The forecast was 3.14 was the expectation. They reported 3.17. The revenue expected number was 10.69. This is for Visa. I apologize. The revenue 10.69 billion was the expectation, and they reported 10.9 billion. So actually double beat by Visa. And like I say, the year over year and quarter over quarter numbers are green. So, you know, like I say, the only red flag I can find so far is that $500 million they had to put on the side to fight court cases. But let's see if I can find something else. Share repurchases and dividends of 5.1 billion. Still talking about Visa here. Apple's not going to report for another 14 minutes. Let's see. They had growth in payments volume, cross-border volume, and processed transactions was strong. We already talked about revenue and EPS. You know, maybe investors were just thinking that they were going to beat more, but it's green across the board for Visa. Everything I'm looking at. The adjusted net income, they beat that forecast. The adjusted EPS, you know, we're talking about profitability, so they beat the EPS, they beat the revenue, volume and activity. The payments volume was up 8%, cross-border volume was up 12%, processed transaction was up 9%. So again, I think maybe it's just all about that 500 million that they said that they deposited into an account to fight litigation. That's really the only red flag I'm seeing right now. If I see anything else, I'll let everyone know. But again, they're going to do their call in about 45 minutes. I put the link in the comments for everyone. Let's look at a day trade I did today. I didn't make a ton of money, but it was a nice trade, and I you know, made some money, pretty good. Also, let me check some comments in Discord just to make sure. Mad Maverick, the other coach in the Discord, he's hanging out in the stream. He said you saw JP Morgan just raised their price target to 315. Okay. And Tammy in Discord says SNDK up $90 a share after hours. Wow. Let's take a look at that. SNDK. So that's SanDisk. Wow. Look at that. Yeah. Whew. They closed the regular session at $539.30. They were up a little over 2% today. Now they're up 13%. And they did come up to 628 from closing the regular session at 539. So they're up a ton. They're still up over $70 a share. Volstag on YouTube. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Okay, Deckers is also up. Appreciate the heads up there. I want to look at SNDK. Why they're up huge? Let me take a look at them real quick. SNDK. NDK. And I'm kind of liking the pullback Visa's having because I don't currently hold any Visa. And I wouldn't mind trading that again on an overreaction. Like I say, most of Visa's data was solid outside of just one little red flag I saw. But look at SanDisk. Appreciate the shout out there, Volstag. I'll keep SNDK on the right, but they crushed it. Holy cow. The forecast EPS was 3.5. They reported 6.2. The revenue expectation was 2.69 billion. They reported over 3 billion. Those are solid double-digit percentage beats there. EPS is up 404% year over year. That's wild. Revenue's up 61% year over year. And the quarter over quarter is similar. So, wow, congratulations to the SNDK bulls. I mean, if you were able to get a regardless if you had an existing position or maybe you did a lotto trade on it, I mean, call options are going to print on that one tomorrow morning if it holds up here. Still up about $70 a share. So appreciate that shout out there, Tammy. And Mad Maverick says this stock was under $50 a few months ago. Holy cow. They're trading that's over $600 now. Yeah, look at that. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, they were at like 30, trading in the 30s like 6 months ago. 5-6 months ago. That is wild. Whew. Some people made some good money on that one, that's for sure. We'll go back to Visa. Let's go back intraday. Visa's still trying to find a bottom. So this is interesting. I mean, again, they're only down 2%. So, if you zoom out, it's not terrible. And Visa was already trading in this range. This is the 4-hour chart. They've already been trading from like 320 to 330, kind of like a $10 range. That's been going on for a few weeks now. So technically, even though they're getting a negative reaction here, they're basically just down at the bottom of the range. So not anything crazy really happening. Let's see here. Matt Maverick says we traded WDC last year. The narrative for Visa is the capped interest rate wanted by Trump. Right? That's a good point, Maverick. Appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, maybe that's something to do with it as well, as far as the narrative goes. But yeah, getting a negative reaction, down just under 2%. It's like $6 a share. But again, it's still trading in the range it's been trading in for the past few weeks. So it's not like it broke out of that range and it's like selling off, massively or anything like that. It's not doing that. So we'll keep our eye on it. See if it holds the bottom of this range. And it's right around like 320, probably support level number 1 on Visa. And if that level loses, we got 318 was demand back here in November. We'll probably look at that level maybe. It's pretty close to where the current, the most recent level is though. So, but yeah, we can look at the daily chart and look at that. But yeah, if it loses like 318 to 320 area, I'd be looking to maybe get a deal on this in low 300s probably. That's what I would do personally, but we'll see. We'll see if they end up finding a bottom around 320 and kind of go from there. It's already come down to 323.85, so it's getting close. Okay, Apple is 4:23 p.m. Eastern. The data is supposed to drop in 6 more minutes. Okay, so this is what everyone's here for. There's about 300 people tuning in, mostly from X, I would assume. Got a nice little cozy group in the Discord. Stickman, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Tammy's here. Objectively Friendly. Nikki's here. Candy Penny and Elizabeth. I already said hi to Elizabeth. She was like first one here. Yeah, Stickman. Hope all is well with you. Me and Stickman got a chance to hang out in person at one of our live events, and we had a blast. It was awesome. All right, so Visa's still trying to find the bottom. We'll get Apple's results in about 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. So yeah, let's look at the just a quick trade I took earlier today. Like I said, I didn't get rich, but it was super easy money. Also did open up a cash secured put on Mara. Alerted that around lunchtime to my coaching group. And potential return on capital on this bad boy is 32 divided by 950. Yeah, so 3.3% return in 1 week. This expires on February 6th. So, you know, if I can make a 3.3% return on my buying power in 1 week, you know, what's the monthly return on that? You know, if I did it 4 times in a row successfully, that's going to be like a 13% return on my money I'm using for, you know, in 1 month. I mean, that's excellent. You know, I don't really go for home runs anymore. I just want consistent money coming in, you know, every week or every month. It doesn't have to be a ton of money, you know, but I'm looking for base hits. I'm looking for consistency. Swinging for the fences every time you trade, that's not, you know, you're not going to be consistent doing that. And then, you know, swinging for the fences, one losing trade is going to wipe out a ton of your progress. So, oops, my phone's ringing. Hold on, let me put them on silent until this stream ends here. Almost 4:30. We got Apple coming here in a few minutes. But yeah, I entered some calls. This was a spread I did yesterday. It didn't make a lot of money on that either, but you know, it all adds up. By the way, our spreads have been on fire. We've had, I think, 8 spread trade winners in a row. 2026 is off to a great start. This was a wheel trade I did on UMAC. I only was using 2,400 in buying power. I pocketed 472 in profit, so that came out to almost a 20% return in 3 months. So I was happy with the results on that. And here's all the proof from my account here. And of course, I alert all these in real time. But you know, I have a lot of fun trading with everyone in the Discord. And the trade I did today, it's 427. So we got about 3 more minutes. I'll get through this quickly so we can get back to Apple. But here's the trade here. No, wait, where is it here? Okay, yeah. So this was at 12:07 p.m. This is I was catching the reversal, the midday reversal on SPY, which was back here. And I was just trading on the 5-minute chart. As soon as price broke above the EMAs and they crossed bullish, I went ahead and took the trade. I was only in the trade for, so I did the 689 calls for tomorrow's expiration. I don't really trade 0 DTE. So I always do one, you know, it's just for day trades. I'll put 1 day at a time on it. Just the premium is not as volatile if you at least put a day on it compared to the 0 DTEs. But they costed $335 a piece. I bought 2 of them, and that was at 12:07. And then just letting my coaching group know step by step how the trade was performing, and then ended up with over $100 on the table. Obviously, I put my stop loss above my break even, and I was manually raising my stop loss as the trade was becoming profitable. And then I was only in the trade for 10 minutes, and I brought in $89. So I was very happy with that. You know, if I can make almost $90 in 10 minutes, I'm gonna take it. You know, that's great money. You know, so that was just an easy trade. I did play-by-play in the Discord today, and I think a few other handful of members made money on it with me. Like I said, it was kind of a quick trade, so you had to be, you know, watching my Discord and responding to the notifications when I posted these alerts and looking at what I was doing. And then I opened a cash secured on Merit, cash secured put on Merit. We just went over that. That one paid. Let me see. I got $32 a contract on that. So this one paid, 3.3% in only 1 week. We went over that already. But anyways, it's 4:29. 1 more minute. We get the Apple data. We're getting some pre-earnings jitters right now. The price is red. The data is technically not supposed to drop for another 30 seconds. So we don't know if this is the real move or not. Unless, someone knows something that we don't ahead of time. Okay, so it should be about 15 more seconds. Visa looking like it's trying to bottom. It's trying. I'll put a fib on that just because it's looking like the selling is kind of fizzling out a little bit. And I'll go right to where they closed the regular session. So, okay, here's Apple. Look at this. Let me move this over a little bit because that's why everyone's here. Apple. Okay, so far, positive reaction. It was negative at first. And then that was not the real move. So see, that's a perfect example. It looked like it was going to sell off. And now look, boom. Green over 2%, up over $5 a share. Let's give it a few more minutes to make sure this doesn't come flying right back down. Especially if you're trying to trade this in after hours with limit orders, you got to be careful. Oops. All right, let me go back here to Apple because I know the data's out. We'll get EPS, revenue, any guidance. We'll find out when they're going to do their call. Got some good stuff from Wolf Financial here. So top line performance, the revenue came in at 143.7 billion. Oops. 143.7 billion. The forecast was 137.4 billion. So they did a good job beating revenue, which is obviously being reflected in the stock price here. Segment breakdown. Here, I'm just going to post this, see how much if I can get all this on one screen here, or run one post. Let me see if I can get this in the comments. I might cut some of it off, but I cut off a little bit of it, but that's okay. Let me do this. I should be able to fit all this in here. Paste. All right, this should be much better. There we go. So those are just some of the line items. I'll post this in the Discord as well. Elizabeth says, bye-bye, Apple. Yeah, totally did a reverse Uno, didn't it? Wow, this thing's catching the bid, y'all. Up over 3% now. It's over $8 a share. So anyways, for Apple, some of the, let me get rid of this Visa page real quick. Some of the line items, segment breakdown, if you will, for Apple. iPhone revenue came in at 85 billion. Services revenue came in at 30 billion. Wearables revenue, like the watches and stuff, 11.4 billion. And revenue from Greater China, 25.5 billion. In profitability and returns, EPS came in at 2.84 and dividend at 0.26. A lot of people forget that Apple pays a dividend, but they do. It's not a big one or anything, but it's something. So it's looking like a grats to the Apple bulls. It doesn't look like it's coming down. And okay, buying slowing down a little bit. Draw a fib on this. And look at Visa trading just below the 25% retrace. So that's like 326 a share. So for the Visa bulls, I'd like that level to get reclaimed first, obviously. And then my confidence will probably go up a little bit that it's starting to, that it could have a good chance at reclaiming the selling. But mainly we need this thing back around 329 for me to be, convinced and put a lot of weight on it. All right, so here's Apple on TradingView here. I'll go 1 minute chart is fine. Let's see where some of these levels are at. Whoops. Yeah, I'm just go right from where it started rallying there. As you can see, it's sitting at about 265.50 right now. So it's coming back. It just broke through 25%. Next level down is around 264. And I'd say this golden ratio around 261. Definitely would like this staying above 261 for the bulls for sure. These levels up here could just be healthy pullback. We'll see if 264 holds here. Just a second. But let's find out when Apple is going to do their earnings web call. Again, Visa's not doing theirs till 5 p.m. Eastern. And Apple's revenue grew 16% year over year. Here, let me post the EPS and revenue beat for everyone real quick. Let's do that. There we go. So everyone can take a peek at that. Elizabeth cracking me up. What's up, Nadi in Discord? Good to see you. I don't think I said hello to you yet. But yeah, Apple's starting to come back a little bit. Okay, it just bounced on the golden fib. Look at that wick. These fib levels are really good to use and convenient. It literally just bounced at the golden ratio, so that's good. That's a good sign that maybe that's, so I'll probably use that as my support level number 1. It's about 261 a share. That's support level number 1 for me. If it fails that, it might fade the whole move, but look for 261 to hold on Apple, folks. That's what I'm watching. It's working on a green candle right now, so that after bouncing from that level, so that's good. Good for the bulls. Let's keep this positive reaction going, right? Visa looks like it's just frozen, sitting down here just below 326. That's the 25% dead cat bounce level. Needs to get above that dead cat bounce level, or it's probably coming back down to after hours low on Visa. And again, I didn't see hardly any negative stuff with Visa. They had nice growth. Everything was up year over year. I think it's just that the fact they had to put $500 million into an account to fight court cases. I don't think investors are liking that too much. But, you know, I don't think it's anything bad. I mean, if you think about it, you know, they can use that money to help defend themselves, you know, over cases that might hurt them. So maybe just short-term pullback on Visa. I think overall Visa is going to be just fine. All right. Apple, again, bounced on the golden fib around 261. A little bit of buying came in, and now it's working on a little red candle, kind of doji looking. So we'll see if the buyers got some more juice left in them. Maybe push this back up to after hours high. If not, I'm looking for a bounce 261 again. We'll see. If 261 fails, this whole move might get faded. So we'll see. But yeah, let me look and see when they're going to do their call. It's almost 4:40 p.m. Again, Apple's revenue grew 16% year over year. That's solid. And they beat all the estimates from what I'm seeing. They beat sales revenue. They beat EPS. The China sales estimates, they beat. The iPhone sales estimates, they beat. The estimate for iPhone sales was 78.3 billion, and they did 85.3 billion. So solid beat on iPhone sales. Their earnings look good. So this maybe just a healthy pullback here. All right, let's find out when they're going to do their call. That's what I want to find out, because that is important. And let's take a look. I'm just going to go right to I'm going to get it right from the horse's mouth, if you will, right from Apple's website. Okay, 5 p.m. Eastern. So Apple is doing their earnings web call the same time that Visa is doing theirs. Both of them are at 5 o'clock. Okay. I'll post this link for everybody. This is how you can get to Apple's investor relations page. And if you want to take a deeper dive into their earnings, that's how you're going to get there. Okay. I posted it in the Discord for everyone as well. And let's see if Apple prints a higher low right here. Right around 261. That could be a higher low. And if that materializes, I think it makes another run at after hours high, but we'll see. Maybe they have a secondary move and it picks up a little more momentum once they do their web call, which is in about 20 minutes. But that link I just put in the comments, that's how you're going to get to the press release right here that I'm looking at right now. And got some commentary from Tim Cook, the CEO. We can go over that a little bit. We already talked about the revenue being up double-digit growth year over year, so that's good. And the EPS was also up double-digit year over year. So this is great. And Tim Cook says, today, Apple is proud to report a remarkable record-breaking quarter with revenue of $143.8 billion, up 16% from a year ago and well above our expectations. iPhone had its best ever quarter, driven by unprecedented demand. Of course, it was the holiday season, but driven by unprecedented demand with all-time records across every geographic segment. And services also achieved an all-time revenue record of 14% from a year ago. We are also excited to announce that our installed base now has more than 2.5 billion active devices, which is a testament to incredible customer satisfaction for the very best products and services in the world. I wonder what Android would say about that. Then let's see, this is the CFO, Kevin Parek, I believe is how you pronounce it. And they say during the December quarter, our record business performance and strong margins led to EPS growth of 19%, setting a new all-time EPS record. It's pretty solid commentary here. These exceptionally strong results generated nearly $54 billion in operating cash flow, allowing us to return almost $32 billion to shareholders. Yeah, shareholders are loving it. Apple's board of directors has declared a cash dividend of 26 cents per share of the company's common stock. The dividend is payable on February 12th to shareholders of record as of the close of business on February 9th. So you need to own shares by or on February 9th, and you can get that dividend. You could probably, just my opinion, but depending on your portfolio size, I mean, I know it's Apple's trading in the mid 200s right now, but if you have the portfolio for it, you could for every 100 shares, if you're going after the like a dividend capture, the dividend payout's tiny, so I don't even know if it'd be worth it. But you could buy some shares and then sell a covered call with the expiration date after February 9th to ensure you're owner of record on February 9th. So you could collect some income on the covered call side and collect the dividend. So that would be like a dual income kind of trade there, from the credit from the covered calls as income, and then of course the dividend income. So there's something to think about. All right, so 5 p.m. Eastern, they're going to do their call. It's testing this 261 level again. That's the golden fib where it bounced from earlier. It's looking a little weak here, so this, if buying doesn't come in soon, this whole move is going to get faded. And then maybe there'll be a secondary move in about 15 minutes when they do their conference call. So everyone's got the link to be able to get into the conference call for Apple. Again, it starts in about 15 minutes. And also Visa does their conference call at 5 p.m. Eastern as well. All right, so we got our reactions. We know what the data is. We know when they're going to do their earnings web call, and we know how to get there. Went over a trade I did earlier today on a day trade. Went over a Mara trade I also entered earlier today, which pays some good return on capital for the time that we're might be in it. But yeah, my name's The Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. This is the last earnings stream of the week. But wow, what a week we had. Today was action-packed with the opening move sell-off, and then basically almost retraced to the majority of the selling. So, you know, it's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. We'll see how the markets close out the week. But overall, it's been a wild week. I know. Hopefully everyone's staying safe out there. And if you're ever in a trade and you just feel your emotions getting the best of you, you probably got too much in the trade, you know. So maybe if you feel your emotions start popping up, maybe it's time to start scaling back. We take some risk off the table, make your position sizes smaller. Not financial advice, but you know, just some words of encouragement. What I would do, you know, if things started getting a little hectic, consider putting some hedge trades in place, things of that nature. And this is just a lot of the stuff I talk about in the Discord with the members over here. Also, if you're looking for a free watch list every morning that gets sent right to your inbox, it's free, doesn't cost anything. Check that first link in the description. We've been getting in the YouTube description. We've been getting a lot of great feedback on those watch lists that get sent out every morning. And but yeah, other than that, Swinging Bull with PB alerts. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I hope everyone has a great night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next stream.